Press the bell icon on the YouTube app to never miss a video from News Laundry.
Hello and welcome to NL Interviews. Today we have with us Mr. A.S. Dulat. Mr. A.S. Dulat has served as Joint Director of IB in Kashmir during one of the worst phases of militancy, the late 80s and early 90s. He was also the Chief of the Research and Analysis Wing and also served at Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee's office and worked with him very closely. Welcome to NL Interviews, sir.
Thank you.
Today you're regarded as a leading expert on Kashmir.
I don't believe that, but because everyone in Delhi is a Kashmir expert.
Right.
And I'm only one among many. So if you say I'm the leading expert,
so now
I'm very flattered, yeah.
We've appointed Mr. Sharma as the interlocutor in Kashmir. You've spent a considerable amount of time in Kashmir, and what are your expectations from Mr. Sharma?
See, I look at it this way, that I think this is the right thing, it's a positive thing. I welcome it, both because I've always been in favor of talking. I think not talking makes no sense. Secondly, Dineshwar has been a colleague, a friend, I know him. And I've said this before, there is no better person at this point of time available in Delhi than Dineshwar. I think it's a good thing. Let's see how it goes. Give him time.
But in Kashmir, do you think that there is a general sense of distrust to do with the IB? Is that distrust justified?
You see, there's one, you could call it broad distrust of the agencies. That is a worldwide phenomenon. It's not just in Kashmir. When you are spooked and everybody says, "Oh my God, how much does one talk to this guy? How reliable is he?" But yeah, the IB has been in Kashmir. It has had a very prominent role. So therefore, people are more wary of the IB. But this is a guy who was in the IB. He was DIB. But I don't think he should remain branded forever, and not be taken seriously. Because when I say he's the best guy, he's humble, he's sincere, he has loads of experience. He served in Kashmir, he feels for the Kashmiri, and he's a good listener.
But what about the Kashmiri? Is he going to trust Mr. Sharma very easily?
Well, as I anticipate, if Mr. Sharma works the way he normally works, and is not, there's no fixed mandate for him, because what has come out in the press is that the Home Minister said he can talk to whoever he likes. Now,
he has azadi.
Yeah, he has azadi. So if he has azadi, then he'll produce results.
And what is this normal way that he works that you just said?
As I said, he's a straight guy, He's not a self-serving, it's a terrible way to put it, but he's not a self-serving bureaucrat. So if he thinks that nothing's going to come out of it, you shouldn't be surprised if he just chucks it all up, Because, as I've repeatedly said, he's a good guy. And maybe in Kashmir you can't say that of too many people.
Right. And Mr. Yashwant Sinha has led a 5-member team, right? The Concerned Citizen Group. Every year, ever since the BJP has been in power, he's submitted the reports, and when I interviewed him, he said that all that the state has done is dump his reports. But Kashmir tends to be more welcoming towards Mr. Sinha. Like, for example, the Hurriyat opened doors to Sinha when they decided to boycott the all-party delegation. I'm just wondering, wouldn't it have made more sense to have someone like Sinha who already has a rapport with the Kashmiri, rather than having someone...
The day that Mr. Yashwant Sinha first went to Srinagar, on his way back, I think he might have come back to Delhi. I was with Karan Thapar on To The Point.
Right.
And he asked me this question, that who do you think would be the best interlocutor for Kashmir? And I said, Mr. Yashwant Sinha.
Right.
But times have changed, and obviously this government doesn't seem to have too much confidence in Mr. Yashwant Sinha, which is very sad, because it's his own party in power.
Yeah.
And he's not a non-entity. He's been your finance minister. He's been your foreign minister. So he is. And so...
Are they afraid that he might listen too much to the Kashmiri?
I don't think you can never listen too much to the Kashmiri. You can listen too little, you know.
Right.
You know, that is our problem, that we don't listen. We lecture more than we listen.
Yeah.
And the Kashmiri, you know, we say the Kashmiri lies. He doesn't speak the truth, which is quite, I mean, by and large correct. But he lies because he thinks you're always lying to him. So we've taught him how to lie, and so he's become pretty good at lying. But therefore, it requires time. It's not going to happen overnight. Okay, it will take time, and Dineshwar has to work on it. The other thing is that now you said that they welcomed what's his name, Mr. Yashwant Sinha.
Mr. Sinha, yeah.
My take is that if Dineshwar had gone to Srinagar the moment his announcement was made, he would have been welcomed just as much. When you dilly-dally, now look at all the comments coming all over the place, you know. So in a way, you are belittling the man even before he reaches Srinagar. I think too much time has been taken. He should have gone straight away.
Right.
If he was, I mean, supposed to go.
Would you have liked to be the interlocutor?
I would love to have been the interlocutor. Like I would even say I would love to have been the governor in J&K if you allow me a moment of immodesty. But you know, I think my time is over now, in the sense that I have no connect with the government. And in our system, it's very clear. When you're in, you're in. When you're out, you're a has-been. And I think poor Yashwant Sinha is also beginning to realize that.
Right.
Although I think this government has been a bit unkind to him.
In a recent interview with Indian Express, you said that this was post the appointment of Mr. Sharma. You said that the NIA raids must be halted if the dialogue has to happen with Mr. Sharma. Were you suggesting that the investigation should sort of be dismissed, they should be given a clean sheet and start all over again if there has to be an open discussion?
That depends on Dineshwar. You know, my point is that there is a contradiction. If you're going to be talking and also arresting people at the same time, then there's a contradiction. I'm not saying that investigations should stop. In fact, my way of looking at it is that this provides Mr. Dineshwar Sharma. The first thing once he talks to the Hurriyat, the first demand they'll make, because they're used to that, is why don't you release these people who have been... So I think Dineshwar has an opening, you know.
Yeah, and he will oblige to that.
I don't think it's a big deal.
Okay.
I mean, if that is all they're asking for. You know, when the Hurriyat held 2 rounds of talks in 2004 with our Deputy Prime Minister at that point of time, this is what they asked for, you know, that there are political prisoners, and they gave a list of, I think, 23, and we released 15, something like that. So it is not difficult to oblige them.
Right. But I had spoken to Mr. Sharma for another story, and I'd asked him this question, whether he was going to halt the NIA raids, and he said he will not be interfering with the NIA in any sense. Do you think that would be a fair stand to take? Is that a smart move for him to make?
I think he'll have to make smarter moves. What he's saying is perfectly right, you know. He's been DIB till quite recently, so I don't think you expect him to say anything different.
Right.
But, you know, I saw a remark. I don't know whether it's correct or not, but it's been attributed to him. A remark he made to Barkha in an interview, in which she asked him, and Barkha is a smart cookie, so she asked him about talking to the Hurriyat. And because there's been a lot of this thing that, no, we won't talk to the Hurriyat, we will talk to the Hurriyat, we'll see. So what Dineshwar is supposed to have said is that it depends on the situation on the ground.
Right,
now,
yeah.
You know, so now that's like your question which you just asked. To my way of thinking, he has been appointed to go and try and change that situation on the ground.
Right.
That is what interlocution is about. You're not going there to just sit in the governor's house or the chief minister's house. You've got to do other things.
But will the Hurriyat speak? Because they've come out with a statement expressing their displeasure.
I tell you that the moment this announcement was made, there was a sense of excitement in Srinagar. Right. Now, 10 days later, so many remarks have been made here and also in Kashmir. So the Hurriyat, I think, had no option but to say. But they haven't ruled out talking. They have just said what the Pakis have said.
It's a tactic.
That this is not a serious thing.
Right. Because Kashmir has repeatedly seen interlocutors coming in and out.
So,
do you think this the appointment of Mr. Sharma will also lead to reduction in encounters and killings in the valley?
Not necessarily. That there is no contradiction in. There's, whatever the security forces have to do, they have to do. Talking is taking the whole thing out of this purely military and law and order sort of way of looking at it. That's why you need to engage, you need to talk. The problem with not talking is that, I've argued this before, that Pakistanis were out of the equation. They were out of the game in Kashmir. Now, by not talking to anybody, you invited them back because the Kashmiri has no option. That's the fallback position.
And you think the unrest saw the worst of that?
Yeah, the worst of it. And, when we don't talk, then they talk to our neighbors. Our friends the other side.
But doesn't that seem more like we're more interested in keeping Pakistan at bay than our concern about Kashmiris? It seems more like to keep bilateral relationships at a certain place. Kashmir often becomes the scapegoat in that situation.
It does. But that's the way it is. The point is that's why I say we need to talk to the Kashmiris and we need to talk to Pakistan as well. Because Pakistan remains a factor. Like I say, the Hurriyat remains a factor, or a Hurriyat way of thinking remains a factor.
In fact, you said that if they're becoming irrelevant, they should be made relevant.
This process, I think the Hurriyat should understand, will help their credibility.
Because they're losing.
They're losing credibility. And it is in our interest for them to gain credibility. Who else are you going to talk to? Now, there's a lot of talk about talking to the youth. Which youth are you going to talk to? Those who count are ruling the roost in South Kashmir. They are not going to be easily accessible. No, it's not the Mir Wise's house or the Gilani Saab's house which you can walk into. So, talking to the youth, and if you're going to just talk to just youngsters in Srinagar, that's a different thing. That's not going to get us anywhere. I feel, and I'm saying this without your asking me this question, I feel that if we do not engage with what is called the separatists, then this whole dialogue would be meaningless. But I expect Dineshwar to engage with them.
Have you advised him to do so?
Who the hell am I to advise him?
No, but you said you were a friend. Did you?
I am a friend.
Yes.
I am a friend, yeah. If he were to ask me for advice, it would be different.
So he hasn't yet?
No, he doesn't need my advice.
Okay. So in another article, let me just quote you. You said, "My point is that there is no solution to Kashmir, but why does India not want to give hope to Kashmiris?" Does this mean that there's some kind of internal understanding that there's not going to be a solution, but somehow we must keep giving the illusion of hope?
I don't know whether I actually said exactly that.
I can quote the entire thing if you feel I'm pulling it out of context.
Let me try and explain that. I forget when I said this and what. You see, there's talk about a full and final settlement of Kashmir. That's what the separatists began by saying. We want a full and final settlement of Kashmir. So my response always has been that even a semi-final settlement would be good enough. Now, what were we doing with Musharraf? I think that was a great opportunity which we missed. Dr. Manmohan Singh was extremely sincere. He did his best, but not
his words were not heeded enough.
Because that window of 2006-07 we lost. When he was demitting office, Dr. Manmohan Singh says, he's on record, and he's an honorable man, he's an honest man. He says that the deal was almost done. Then why was it not done? Because, again, coming to what you're quoting, if that deal had been done, my way of looking at it is that it was, I think we couldn't have asked for anything more, that Musharraf formula. And it would have given the valley peace, I think, for about 15 years. Yeah?
And once that window of opportunity was lost, you think it's a little impossible
there's no
now?
Musharraf, now there's no Musharraf.
Yeah.
Now, Delhi's normal thing is that who do you talk to? There's not even a proper, this is only an interim government. But the point is that you don't have to start talking with the Prime Minister or the Army Chief or whatever it is. The NSS have been talking. I heard that they had good rapport, the chemistry was good. So why should that stop? Why
Will
should
the
they not?
appointment of Mr. Ajay Bisaria make any difference now?
Ajay is a good guy. I mean,
Okay.
I've known him a little bit because we were in the PMO together. He's a good guy, just as Gautam was a good guy. I think all our high commissioners in Islamabad have had a good reputation, and the Pakis have been happy with our high commissioners. And I think the Pakistani high commissioners in Delhi also have most of them been outstanding people.
Right.
There's no problem there. Now, whether Ajay is an improvement on Gautam...
Because we are at a low in terms of bilateral relations with
there
Pakistan.
is no relationship at the moment,
Right.
which is a sad thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So this year alone, in the past 10 months, here are some statistics. There have been about 53 civilian
I'm
killings.
very bad at statistics. Anyway, quote.
53 civilian killings, 67 security personnel deaths, about 178 militant quote-unquote terrorist killings, and a total of about 298. And this is the highest that's been that has happened in the past 7 years. What do you think these statistics indicate?
Well, one positive in these statistics, or even outside the statistics, whatever one hears, whatever one reads, that a lot of militant leaders have been neutralized, which is a very good thing. That's a positive thing. And I think the security forces, whether it's the army or the paramilitary, and maybe most of all the J&K police, have done an admirable job of late. There's no denying that.
Right.
But at the end of it, Kashmir is not a military problem.
Right.
It is a political problem, and more than that, it's an emotive problem.
Yeah, you've said that, is not.
So I keep saying that. So, and that can only be addressed by engagement.
But do these emotions eventually lead to policy making? Do they influence policy making? Because the Kashmiri has constantly been failed in terms of they're not being heard by Delhi, they have been betrayed by Delhi, and that's happened with political leaders also in Kashmir.
Now there's this issue. You asked me something, but I'm going to say something quite out of the whole thing. That there is this issue of autonomy which comes up all the time.
Yeah.
Now, you remember, I think it was 2001 that the National Conference had moved a resolution. And he sent it to Delhi, hoping that Delhi would say, we are looking into it. Because he needed something to go to the people in the 2002 election. We in Delhi have no answer to these things, If you talk to people at the highest level, they will say, yeah, autonomy is fine. Nothing wrong with autonomy within the constitution. No less a person than Narasimha Rao said that if Kashmiris want autonomy, sky is the limit.
So, but where is the glitch happening? Where is the
glitch is in this thing. The reality is that I think the Kashmiri will have to live with the status quo. Now, when you talk of autonomy, there is autonomy. 370 guarantees autonomy. So there is autonomy. And as Mr. Advani used to say, you can't put the clock back to 53. So then maybe we should look at 1975, the Sheikh Mrs. Gandhi Accord.
Right.
Something there. But more than anything else, what the Kashmiri had bargained for, you would realize that along the line, let's forget the last 18 months or 2 years, along the line the Kashmiri had realized that the gun has brought nothing but destruction. That be the case, and along with that, Pakistan went out of the equation. So actually, the whole situation was favoring us. All the Kashmiri expected was that he was craving peace. He still craves peace, but peace with honor, dignity.
Right.
Yeah? So that is where the catch is. So that's why we keep coming back to these things.
But do you think this particular government, the NDA government, has taken a hardliner approach on Kashmir?
Well, it has been hardline. It has been
and
hardline.
that hasn't worked.
Not only, no, I won't say it hasn't worked. Now, that's for government to decide.
But I'm sure you'd have some assessment. You've spent so much time.
Yeah, you see, the point is, I won't say it hasn't worked. It's worked in a certain way, which I told you. The security forces have done a great job. But Kashmir problem doesn't end there. The issue will not get resolved there, you know. And if you have a situation where somebody like Dr. Farooq Abdullah could be referred to as anti-national, then you'll have to dig very, very deep in Kashmir.
In fact, you call him the most nationalist person.
He is. Not only that, he's by far the tallest leader in Kashmir. If there's anybody in Kashmir, and I mean, one can only hope and pray that he has a long life. If there is anybody, if there is a bridge between Delhi and Srinagar, it is Dr. Farooq. If there is anybody who understands Delhi, Mufti Saab had been Union Home Minister, but he didn't understand Delhi the way Dr. Farooq understands it.
Does his daughter?
Whose daughter?
Mufti Saab's?
Mufti Saab's daughter, I feel very sorry for her, because she had aroused a lot of expectation in Kashmir.
She has failed as a leader in Kashmir. You would say so?
I don't know whether she's failed or Delhi has failed her. I don't know. Whichever way you want to look at it. But I feel sorry for her. Because
let's talk a little bit about the Machil fake encounter, right? The 5 army personnels who were convicted in 2014 with life sentence, their life sentence has been suspended.
Which encounter is this?
The Machil fake encounter.
Machil?
That happened? Yeah.
2014.
It happened in 2010, and then they were convicted in 2014 with a life sentence. And recently their life sentence was suspended. How do you see this as a murder of justice?
Memory fails me now. I know the name, of course, rings a bell, Machil encounter, but I don't remember the facts, to be honest, really. So.
And what do you make of this surgical strike? In fact, in an interview you said it got too much media hype than it deserved.
Yeah, it's like this, you know. I look at it like this. I was out of Delhi, and I was, some people from the media called me, and I was watching this on television. In fact, I was in Nagpur. And there was a DGMO saying that we've done our job, and we don't intend to do anything more. It's been a successful surgical strike. So I would say congratulations, great job done. Pakistan's response to that was nothing's happened.
Yeah, it never happened.
Never happened. So what could be better than that? Just shut it all up. You've done your job. They are not
no
offended.
job done.
They are not offended. So why are we making so much noise about it? Now I give you a similar instance, reverse. You know this, what's his name? Kulbhushan Yadav.
Yeah.
Now Pakistan caught him, whatever he may be. I wouldn't know. I'm not in the business anymore. But why did Pakistan make such a noise about it? Why did they say we're going to hang him? Because they're not going to hang him. You know? People don't get hanged for whatever, intruding, or even if he was a spook or whatever.
They exchange spies, as you said.
So these things, what should have been done in normal circumstances is that the Pakistan NSA should have told our NSA that, look, we have one of your guys, so we'll talk about it. We are not going to advertise it. We'll talk about it, and maybe at the appropriate time, we'll let him go. Yeah. That's how it should have been done.
No question of consular access. You think all of that was sort of a sham built around
See, now, once this got so much publicity, there would not have been any talk of consular access if it had not got publicity. When you publicize a matter, then, you know, the Geneva Convention, this, that, everything comes into play. And naturally, we were justified in demanding consular access. And maybe they were justified in not giving you consular access. You know, I mean, it's that kind of thing. It should never have been brought out so, hyped up so much in the media in Pakistan. I think the Pakistanis would realize that it was a mistake.
This makes me very curious to ask you, how does someone who worked in the intelligence articulate transparency in the system?
Beg your pardon?
How does someone who worked in the intelligence articulate the fact that a government or a state must be completely transparent to the public? Because there are things that, like you're saying, that there should have been arrangements made between the NSA of India with Pakistan.
But that's not so transparent.
You know, how would you articulate transparency?
No, my point is that, you know, in this business is such that most of it is not transparent, you know. So you are working in grey areas most of the time.
The Kashmiri's favorite color, that you say.
Yeah. Kashmir's favorite color.
Yeah. And so often
the rest
these
is,
words
of course,
are thrown around.
Different people, you know, when they get an opportunity, operate differently.
Right. And also, this 22nd October, a day before Mr. Sharma was appointed, there was the BJP's first youth wing convention that was held in Srinagar. What do you make of that? Is this some kind of strategic
I didn't anticipate that there was going to be this. But that in itself, that youth wing convention, I thought was very interesting for the simple reason that after almost 3 years, Vajpayee was invoked there. And invoked by everybody, including the Deputy Chief Minister. So why was poor Vajpayee buried for 3 years, and now why did he come to the surface? Why was that insanity?
Except Mr. Modi has been invoking Vajpayee's name. Even last year he did so.
But not in relation to Kashmir. No, I mean
you see, he has.
I'll tell you something. I think Mr. Modi had the best opportunity for settling things in Kashmir, for moving forward. There's not been any Prime Minister in recent years with this kind of thumping majority in Parliament, with full backing of his party and the RSS. And it was welcomed by the Kashmiris, including the Mirwais, who said, we welcome Mr. Modi's election and we hope he will take forward what Vajpayee was doing.
But did he?
No, no. That's why we are in whatever situation we are.
Right. You've also with Thapar at the interview with Mr. Thapar. I've
had so many.
No, I'm talking about the one with your book.
Okay, with my book.
Yeah. And so in that you said that there was a point when Saeed Salahuddin had called up the IB office and asked for a place for his son in a medical college, asked for a seat. And Mr. Abdullah at that time obliged because he thought it would be a good chance to
in the national interest.
Get Mr. Salahuddin back. And today Shahid Yusuf is arrested by the NIA. Is this another attempt to get Mr. Salahuddin back?
I wouldn't know.
I'm sure you'd have a hunch.
No, I don't think it has anything to do with getting Salahuddin back. But now that you mention it, it provides another opportunity. He has been signaling umpteen times, you know, that he would like to come back. And this matter has been discussed, but obviously the powers that be thought it better to leave him there.
Last question. Do you think that the BJP and the PDP alliance stand another chance in Kashmir?
No, unfortunately not.
No?
No. This is the saddest part of the whole story. That, you know, the 2014 election produced a result which satisfied nobody. No party was totally satisfied. The BJP had that Mission 44. They got 25 seats. The PDP was dreaming of about 35 seats. They got 28 seats. And the National Conference also dropped. The one party which actually did well in the valley, more than expected, was the Congress.
Right.
And now I will tell you that the Congress is going to gain immensely in Jammu because of this alliance. The PDP will be almost wiped out in the valley, and in Jammu, the BJP is going to suffer losses. Yeah.
And Mr. Sharma's role is going to be important, or
That has nothing to do with elections.
I'm sure it has, Mr. Dulat. I'm sure the appointment of Mr. Sharma is also an attempt to make it look like their approach is not hardliner and they do want to engage in dialogue, because for the past 3 years they haven't. There has been no dialogue.
No, that as I say is a very positive thing. But
you can't rule that out of having its effect on elections.
Are you talking about Gujarat, Himachal, or
I'm talking about
J&K?
Kashmir. Only J&K.
It's still a long way to go. Let's see.
Right.
You see, the thing about Kashmir is, and I think I mentioned it in my book as well, that Kashmir is very unpredictable. It can change overnight. So, those three wise men there say that we will not talk or what. And yet, if Dineshwar Sharma were to drive straight to one of their homes, you see how much it shakes up things in Kashmir.
Right.
Of course, it's not going to happen. No? There's no harm dreaming.
Right, yeah. All right, Mr. Dulat, thank you so much
Thanks
for
a lot,
this interview.
Nidhi. Thank you.
Yeah.